Hello, Mrs. Ellis here again. I'm going to be talking about Before You Were Mine, the poem written by Duffy that you would have used in your controlled assessment, so you should be quite familiar with this. The poem is about a story of the mother and how she was in her life before the child was born, and that is interesting in the title, Before You Were Mine. It suggests that it would be from the other way around, and it's about the mother talking about the daughter, but in fact it's the daughter talking about the mother before she was born. It also has been taken from from a collection called Meantime, and that deals with a load of poems that deals with time, and this is a poem indeed that deals with the passing of time. But we also get a sense here that as time passes on, the same thing happens to the grandmother as it does the mother, as it will indeed the daughter. So nothing actually really changes. In the first stanza, it reads, "I'm 10 years away from the corner you laugh on with your pals." 10 years again gives that sense of time, that sense of passing. The corner you laugh on with your pals. The mother had a life before where she was young and free and had lots of friends and enjoyed herself. In fact, the poet goes on to list Maggie McGeaney and Jean Duff. Now, of course, Duffy here is referring to her own mother, so it's quite interesting that she again looks at that theme of time. The three of you bend from the waist. It suggests that they had such joy and laughter and such a really good time together, that sense of friendship. Holding each other or your knees and shriek at the pavement. Again, that whole idea of shrieking, out of control laughter, really wild with joy for life. Your polka dot dress blows around your legs, Marilyn. Now, your polka dot dress is a very, very, very famous image, actually, of Marilyn. I couldn't quite get it for you, Ian. She's sitting in a polka dot dress, similar to this one, and she's sitting on a rail with a friend, and she's laughing really naturally at a time in her life when she was very, very happy. So she wears a dress just like Marilyn Monroe, which means that Duffy thinks of her mother, or thought of her mother at this time, as quite a glamorous person, as quite someone of Hollywood status. And this holophrastic sentence here, Marilyn, suggests that she was comparing her mother to that glamorous Hollywood icon, Marilyn Monroe, which is a really respectful and beautiful image for her to have of her own mother. In the next stanza, we immediately again have the sensing of time. I'm not here yet. The thought of me doesn't occur in the ballroom with the 1,000 eyes. Now, this has an ambiguous double meaning, if you like. In the ballroom with 1,000 eyes could be her dancing with the 1,000 eyes that is projected from a glitter ball, which would have been a favourite at any ballroom. But it could also mean about the 1,000 eyes that were watching her, perhaps potential husbands out there looking for future wives when they were out dancing with the girls, perhaps somewhere to meet their future husbands. The fizzy movie tomorrows the right walk home could bring. Again, the sense of fizzy. It could mean champagne or pop, or it could also mean the idea of excitement and celebration. Movie tomorrows and the right walk home could bring, suggesting that you picked up the right man, perhaps in the ballroom, perhaps the way her father and her mother, Duffy's father and mother, met, and just the right walk home, just one walk home with perhaps a gentleman that you've met at the ballroom, and that would be your future father. I knew you would dance like that before you were mine. Your ma stands at the close with a hiding for the late one. You reckon it's worth it? Here we have a direct reference to the grandmother. This would have been Duffy's mother's mother, where she was waiting for Duffy's mum to come in, obviously been out late at the ballroom, meeting other chaps and with her girlfriends. And here she has mum, or which would have been her grandmother, standing waiting for her, saying, "What time do you call this?" And she actually asked the question, you know, "You reckon it's worth it?" Well, of course, that's a similar thing to what the grandmother would have done, as well as the mother's done that. And certainly Duffy, I'm sure, has been out late at night and her mother has scolded her when she's got in, asking her, "What time do you call this?" The decade ahead of my loud, possessive yell was the best one, eh? It's a real conversational tone at the end of that first line. Duffy talking directly to her mother. "So, before I came aloud and I was crying and I needed you, that was a really good time, was it? A really good decade." And I think she's quite admiring of her mother and respectful. They have a real nice intimacy, and this word here makes them very intimate in the sense of their relationship as mother and daughter. "I remember my hands in those high-heeled red shoes, relics." And as a child, she can remember getting out the shoes, perhaps out the cupboard that she wore when her mother went ballroom dancing, and that she was tiny and she'd get her little hands in the shoes. Quite a real nice romantic idea of, you know, remembering your mother when you were little. But also the high-heeled red shoes are incredibly glamorous, and would also still have quite sexual connotations. Indeed, the whole idea of Marilyn Monroe was a huge sex symbol in the 50s and 60s, and she was very renowned for her polka dot dresses and her voluptuousness. And it's almost like Duffy is suggesting her mum was just like that. So she has a real beautiful image of her mum as being this young, vibrant, voluptuous, sexy young woman before she was born. You can see here that there were relics. So it was a time before she'd had children. "And now your ghost clatters towards me over George Square, till I see you, clear as scent." And there is a sense of that clarity of her having this life before, and that was okay. She can visualise her clear as anything, under the tree with its lights, and whose small bites on your neck, sweetheart. So there are even sexual connotations here, where she's obviously been necking with somebody, maybe a sweetheart, but that's okay, and she admires that, because again, what would happen with the passing of time would have happened with the grandmother, would have happened with the mother, which would have happened with Duffy when she was a young girl, and probably even Duffy's young children as well as they grow up. And finally, in the final stanza, we have the cha-cha-cha, which is written in italics, again suggesting that her mother's actually saying it. Very conversational and intimate moment between her mother, Duffy's mother, and her as a young girl. "You teach me the steps on the way home from Mass, stamping stars from the wrong pavement." Again, this is quite ambiguous. She's obviously teaching Duffy as she walks home from school, dancing steps, which is really a lovely thing for a mother and daughter to do. But she refers to the stamping of stars on the wrong pavement. And this could be for two different reasons. It could be for the whole idea that she is stamping stars not on a glamorous pavement. The wrong pavement is not a glamorous pavement. It's not a glamorous direction she's going into anymore. She now has a family and responsibilities, and she's quite happy with that because she's been there, done that. But it also could say, talking of the stars, speak about the wrong pavement, and referring to the pavement in Hollywood. Remember, we already have the image of Marilyn Monroe, a Hollywood star, the glitzy ballroom as well. And here we have the whole idea maybe of a star pavement in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard. All the stars that have been past and present have a star representing them on the Hollywood pavement. And maybe she's saying that she's actually on the wrong pavement, and that she could have been a glamorous Hollywood star with a star on the Hollywood Boulevard pavement. Even then, I wanted the bold girl winking in Portobello, somewhere in Scotland before I was born. Again, the whole idea that she was a really bold woman and she could have actually gone and done something because she thinks of her as so beautiful. That glamorous love lasts, where you sparkle and waltz and laugh before you were mine. The poem ends almost where it began, in the idea that she has this real idealised view of her mother as being this real glamorous, exciting, celebrated woman. And that her love will last and sparkle just as the mirror bore, and before she was mine. So she understands and respects that all that happened before she was born.